Good morning, students. I hope so. Everyone is good and everyone is fit and fine. So, today we are starting with the new chapter, which is from the subject Geography, and this is your lecture 1 from chapter number 10, Life in a Desert. And I just want to let you know that chapter number 9, which is Life in a Grassland, which is not a part of your syllabus anymore. So you can delete that particular chapter from your syllabus as well. The chapter that will be coming in your syllabus is chapter number 10, that is Life in a Desert. So we are continuing with that today, and we in the next probable lecture 2 we are going to do that only. So this is lecture 1 from chapter number 10, Life in a Desert. So today we are going to discuss about this chapter only, and in this particular chapter we are going to learn how different kind of life scenario which are there who are living in this desert area, what kind of different climatic condition that they face, what are the different kind of flora and fauna we found. So these are the different kind of things that we are going to discuss in this particular chapter. So for today, the topic that we are going to be discussing will be first of all, I'm just going to give you a quick introduction about the chapter, what this chapter is all about. So basically about the desert, how life is there in certain desert area, and there are different kind of extreme temperatures that is found in desert areas. That is extremely hot and extremely cold. So basically, where you find in which particular regions that you find these desert area, especially for the hot desert and the cold desert, what kind of circumstances that they face, then what different kind of climatic conditions that are there that are found in these kind of desert system, like the hot desert which is there in Sahara. We are going to discuss that. What are the different kind of climatic conditions that they face there, then what kind of flora and fauna that is being found there, we're going to discuss that. Then what kind of people who are living there and in what kind of circumstances they live in, so we are going to discuss that as well. And after that I'm going to give you a homework that you have to do for today. So these are the particular things that we'll be discussing today. So everyone, please be ready with your book, with your notebook and one pen in your hand to write down all the notes, and you can mark that in your books as well, some important notes and some important lines. So shall we begin with the lecture now? So first of all, I'm just going to give you an introduction about the chapter. So basically in chapter number 5, where you have read about life in water basically, so you have seen that water means life to plants, animals and people. So water is a kind of a very basic and necessary thing for everybody's living, not only for people but for like the life of plants, animals and for each and everyone. Water is a very important thing or a substance that is required for a day-to-day life. So it is very difficult for anyone to live in places where there is no water to drink, where there is no grass for their cattle to feed on, and where there is no water to help the crops to grow. So basically, if there will be no water around you, there will be no particularly necessary thing that is required for your body, not for your own body, for plants, animals and everyone. It is going to be very difficult to live in certain places where you cannot find your basic needs. So basically they are just saying that only that it is very difficult for anyone to live in certain places where there will be no water to drink. Can anyone live in a certain place for like more than a week where you cannot find water? Obviously you are going to feel thirsty, and after a time you will require water. So basically it is very difficult for anyone to live in certain places where there is no water to drink, and where there is no grass for their cattle to feed on. So basically where they cannot produce their vegetations, they cannot do their cattle work, and where there is no water to help the crops to grow. So basically where if the cattling is not possible, so how they are going to produce their crops? So it is going to be very difficult without water to survive in certain areas like that. So we will know and learn about the places in the world where people have learned to cope with extreme harsh temperatures. So in this particular chapter, we are going to learn about those places only in the world which are there, which is having a very extreme kind of harsh temperatures, and still people are trying and coping up and living in certain places like that. how they are doing that, and what kind of different climatic conditions that they face. We are going to witness that only in this chapter. So the places in the world where people have learned to cope with these extreme harsh temperatures, where you can see that in some places their places will be as hot as fire, and some places could be some as like so cold as ice. So there will be some extreme harsh temperatures that you are going to find in these kind of areas, which are desert areas, and people are living in certain areas, and how they are coping up with these all things, and what are the different things that you can find in these kind of areas. We'll talk about that. So there are the desert areas of the world. So basically these are the desert areas of the world where you can find extreme high and hot humid temperature, or there will be extreme cold, which is kind of, you can feel it as ice is there. That kind of a temperature is here. So these kind of two different kind of extreme harsh temperatures that you can find in the desert areas of the world. Now, these are characterized by low rainfalls, scanty vegetation, and extreme temperatures. So basically, these are basically obvious reasons are there that in these desert areas, the different characteristics that we can find are basically low rainfalls, scanty vegetation, and extreme temperature. So basically, what are the things that you can find here? So obvious reasons are there. If that area is desert, so there will be very less rainfall that you can find out there, and there will be scanty of vegetation because of that. So if there will be no rainfall, how they can produce vegetation in certain areas? And with that, because of no rainfall, and there is no grassland, there is no forest area, so there will be some extreme temperature that they are going to face with that. So these are the different characteristics of having in or living in a desert area, which is basically low rainfall, scanty vegetation, and extreme temperatures. Now, depending on the temperatures, there can be hot deserts or cold deserts. So basically, I just told you that it depends on their temperature zone only, that what kind of desert area they are into. Are there some? There will be two categories. So first will be the hot desert, which are having extreme hot temperature cases, and the other will be cold desert, which is the extreme cold desert areas. Now the people inhabit these lands wherever little water is available to practice agriculture. So basically people try in certain areas like that to inhabit their lands wherever there is very little water is available to practice agriculture. So the people try to live in these areas, and they basically find, if they are going to find a little water, they try to practice agriculture in these kind of land areas. Now first of all, we are going to talk about the first kind of desert, that is the hot desert region, that is Sahara Desert. So if you have and you have seen it also in the map, basically you can see in your book also, like look at the map of the world, and the continent of Africa. So there you can locate the Sahara Desert, that is covering a very large part of North Africa, and it is the world's largest desert. It has an area of around 8.54 million square kilometer. So basically, if we talk about what kind of a region which is there, so it is the world's largest desert area, and it has an area of around 8.54 million square kilometer. Do you recall that India has an area of 3.2 million square kilometer? So basically, it has an area of the Sahara Desert have the area of 8.54 million square kilometers, and we recall about the India area, that is 3.2 million square kilometers. So you can know that how big that desert area is. So it is like double, or like more than double of India, if you calculate in numbers and if you calculate in square kilometer. So the Sahara Desert touches around 11 countries. So basically the Sahara Desert is covering, and it touches around 11 countries. Now what are these 11 countries? These are Algeria, Chad, Egypt, Egypt, Libya, Mali, Mauritania, Morocco, Niger, Sudan, and Tunisia and Western Sahara. So these are the 11 countries which the Sahara Desert touches. Now, when you think of a desert, the picture that immediately comes to your mind is that of sand. So basically, when we try to imagine an area of how desert is going to be placed in, so we are just going to picturize as how that it is basically going to be covering the sand area, mostly the sand area. So that's how we are going to justify it. So, but beside the vast stretches of sand, the Sahara Desert is covering with, there are also gravel plains and elevated plateaus with bare rocky surface. These rocky surface may be more than 2500 meter high at some places basically. So if we are going to picturize about the desert area, mostly we are going to find these kind of areas only, which is basically going to be sandy or gloomy. But there will be chances that there will be certain areas where you can find that there will be gravel plains like rocky mountains which are there, or rocky stony mountains which are you can find in desert areas too. So these are also that you can see in these kind of desert plain area. So these rocky surfaces may be more than 2500 meter high at some places. So basically, if you are going to a certain desert area, you will not only find only the patchy, plain, desert, sandy areas, but you can find other things as well. Now we are going to talk about the climatic condition that you can face in this hot hot desert, which is in the Sahara region. Now what kind of climatic condition that they face in these kind of areas? So first of all, if we are going to talk about the climatic regions. So the climate of the Sahara Desert is very scorching hot and parched dry. So basically what does scorching hot means? That there will be a very tingly and very harsh, haughty weather that you can find, that is to next to some extreme level, like around 50 degrees Celsius it will be, and you cannot live in certain scorchy hot land areas. And it will be parched dry because of the hot desert area only. It will be very much dry kind of a region that you can plain area that you can find in these regions. So it is a very and they also face a very short rainy season. So if there are desert, it doesn't mean that the rainy season is not going to be there. It can be possible, but for a very short period of time. So it has a very short rainy season. Then the sky is cloudless and clear. So basically the sky that you can see there is most probably going to be cloudless, and it is going to be crystal clear mostly. And here, and here the moisture evaporates faster than it accumulates. So basically what does this line mean? That the moisture evaporates faster than it accumulates. Basically whatever kind of circumstances they are into, like if the little bit of water is coming into the land area, the air evaporates faster than the land area can accumulate the water or the moisture inside the land area. So basically the air evaporates each and everything from the land area. So the moisture is very less because it evaporates faster than it is accumulating in the land area. So there will be land that will be unbelievably hot. So basically because of the extreme high temperatures, the days will be unbelievably hot, and the temperature could rise up to like sort of as high as 50 degrees Celsius, and it can heat up the sand and the bare rocks as well. So basically the temperature condition that you can see here will be, if in the daytime most probably it will be around 50 degrees Celsius, and it can heat up the entire land area. Like it is not going to like heat up the sand, but the other parts that is going to be there in the land area, like the bare rocks, which in turn it can reflect and radiate the heat, making everything around that particular region to extreme hot condition. But similarly, if we are going to talk about the nights, how the like haughty regions are taking the radiations of hot wings inside them. Similarly, the night may be freezing cold the same. So basically, they're going to take all the radiation of the freezing cold waves into them. So the night may be freezing cold with temperatures nearing to 0 degrees. So basically, the nights may be freezing cold with the temperature that is going to be like crossing like below 0 degree too sometimes. So if the temperature that you can see in these Sahara desert will be in the daytime, you can see that it is going if it is very much hot, so it is going to reach to 50 degree, and in the nights if it is freezing cold, they are going to like react towards the radiation of that with, and it can drop to the temperature of something to 0 degrees Celsius. Now what kind of vegetations and what kind of animals that you can find in these kind of regions? So basically the vegetations that we are going to be finding in Sahara desert, it includes cactus, it includes date palms, it includes acacia. In some places there will be oases as well. Oases are the long green tree plants which are there, which are basically built in these desert areas only, which are green Iceland kind of plants with date palms surrounded by them, and these are the kind of vegetation that you can find there. So basically it includes cactus, date palms and acacia, and in some places there will be oases as well, which are basically relatable to green Iceland, and with that these oases will be surrounded with palms surrounded by them. Now the animals, the basic animals that you can find in this desert area will be camels, hyenas, jackals, foxes, scorpions and many other varieties of snakes and lizards are the prominent animal species living there. So what kind of animals that we'll probably be finding in these regions will be camels, hyenas, jackals, foxes, scorpions, and there will be many other variations of snakes and lizards as well. Now we are going to talk about the people, how people live in certain extreme condition and still they are having a very like abnormal life, who are being living in this desert area, how it is possible to live in certain areas and how basically people are, how they are managing with it. So basically the Sahara desert, despite of its harsh climate, has been inhabited by various groups of people. So basically, despite of having these extreme temperatures, people are still living in these areas, and there are various groups of people who pursue their own activities, their own different activities there, and they do their work, they live there. But how it is possible and how they are basically managing with that? So among them there are Bedouins and Togreits. They are the different tribes. They are the different tribes of group of people who are living there. Now these groups are basically nomadic tribes. Nomadic tribes basically means that they are not going to stay at one place. They are going to travel around, and they are going to like with their animals, and they are going to go from one place to another in search of better vegetation or better kind of area where they can earn money out of it. So these groups are nomadic, where they are not going to stay for a very long period of time in one area. They are going to change their places with their rearing livestock such as their goats, with their animals basically sheep, camels and horses, and these animals are basically going to provide them with milk, hides, from which they make leather for belts, slippers, water bottles and so many other things. So basically these kind of animals which they basically do their work with, they travel around. So basically they provide them milk, they provide them hides from which they make leather for belts, they provide them slippers, water bottles, and here is basically these goats, sheep and camels here is used for mats, carpets, clothes and blankets. So basically they use their particular substances, like here basically they use it for their making mats, carpets, clothes and blankets. So they wear heavy robes as protection against dust storms and hot winds. So basically they wear also these heavy robes, basically the cap and all, to protect against these dust storms and hot winds. Now the oases that are there in the Sahara and the Nile Valley in Egypt supports settled population. So basically where you can find basically in the Sahara region and in the Nile Valley, there will be OCs that you can find there, and basically in Egypt, they basically support all the settled population. Basically, you will find people around them, and they are basically living in these areas only where you can find OCs. Now, since water is available, the people grow date palms. So, a little bit of water which is available in areas of OCs. So, the water is available. So, because of that, the people start growing date palms as well. And similarly, because of that, they start like it support other kind of crops and the growth of crops as well, such as rice it is there, wheat it is there, barley and beans, and also many other crops are also they are growing in these regions because of the availability of water. Now, Egyptian cotton, famous worldwide, is grown in Egypt. So basically, in these regions, the most famous thing that you can find is the Egyptian cotton. That is very much famous, and it is very much rich also. And it is basically grown in Egypt only. Now there are other things also that are grown there. Basically, the discovery of oil, a product in great demand throughout the world in Algeria, Libya, and Egypt is constantly transforming the Sahara Desert. So basically, the oil is being taken out from these places only, and it is very much in demand. The greatest demand is of oil only for currently throughout the world, and basically they are extracting it from the areas like Algeria, Libya, and Egypt is constantly transforming the Sahara Desert into an oil field. Now, there are other minerals of importance that are found in the areas include iron, phosphorus, manganese, and uranium. So basically, there apart from all these things, you can find minerals as well, which are very much important for like our day-to-day life, and which are found. What are the minerals that they found in these areas? Basically, they include iron, phosphorus, manganese, and uranium. Now, there are different kind of cultural landscape of the Sahara is undergoing change. So basically, the cultural changes that you can find out in Sahara, it is also there. So the cultural landscape of the Sahara is undergoing changes. That is gleaming glass, cased office building tower over mosques and superhighways, crisscross the Asian camel paths, and so others. So basically, there are also the things that are attractive, and that is very much included to their cultural landscapes, which is basically glamming glass case office building tower, which is there over mosques, and there is one more thing, that is super highways crisscross the Asian camel pass. Then there are trucks that are replacing camels in the salt trade. They are tour treks which are seen in acting as guides to foreign tourists. Then there are more and more nomadic horsemen which are taking to city life, founding jobs in oil and gas operations. So these are the different kind of changes that you can see in the Sahara Desert from now on. Previously, people were not living there. Now people are living there. They are growing crops also. They are using that particular area for oil fields, for minerals, extracting minerals, and there are a lot of changes that is coming up, and things are getting changed. Now, like they are replacing certain things, like trucks are replacing camels in the salt trade. Tour wrecks are seen acting as guide for the tourist, foreign tourists, and more nomadic horsemen are taking to the city life, finding more jobs in oil and gas operations. So that's it for today's lecture. These are the homework questions that you have to do for today. The first question is, discuss the places where extreme harsh temperatures are found. Now question number 2, discuss the situation and location of Sahara Desert. Question number 3, account for the relief of Sahara Desert. And question number 4, give an account of the climate of Sahara Desert. So these are the 4 questions that you have to do as homework. And if you found any difficulty in any of the topic, you are not able to understand anything related to the lecture or the homework that I have given you, you can let me know in the online class. We are there to help you out, and let us know your doubts and your queries related to the chapter. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening to the lecture, and please take care of yourself.